Hey guys, it's Jeff here, and today my girlfriend Princess and I need to expose Tony Marquez posing as Mickey Gibson, who continues that lie.
That's right, Jeff. Tony Marquez keeps insisting that only prison guards can provide the public inside prison information. Tony Marquez is such a brainlet that he doesn't even consider the information getting out about Mickey Gibson being a prison bitch happens to be from both Kevin the CIA agent, who happens to visit Gibson for Mickey Gibson's blowjobs, but also the visitors who talk to the inmates. The inmates would also be spreading this information out to the visitors they talk to. Dumbass Tony Marquez doesn't even consider that and just makes up some bullshit that only guards can spread information, when that's not the only source of information coming out.
You got that right, Princess. That gets publicized in the news because inmates can converse with visitors to the prison, whether they're family members or friends or even journalists.
That pretty much opens and shuts Tony Marquez brainlet lies. This is why nobody believes Tony Marquez, because he tells obvious lies that any sane person can easily debunk with common sense. Tony Marquez is much like Mickey Gibson. They're both brainlets who just think up bullshit in their heads that have nothing to do with reality but they think is reality.
Everybody knows inmates can pass on information that's happening in the prison onto visitors they talk to at the prison. Inmates can even talk to outsiders over the phone and give them information about what's happening in the prison. What a stupid brainlet Tony Marquez is for suggesting otherwise. No wonder no one is siding with that liar. He's spreading obvious misinformation.
Oh, and Tony Marquez posing as Mickey Gibson admitted Gibson looks like he has special needs. When Gibson claimed people apparently think Gibson doesn't look special needs until he would say that he is. Oops, Tony, you've contradicted Gibson, which means you're not Gibson, Tony.
Yeah, Gibson is an inbred who has brain damage, which makes him look like he has special needs, but Gibson doesn't have autism. He faked it as his failed excuse to somehow avoid prison, which failed. Thank God for that.
And there's plenty of autistic people in prison. There's one autistic MGTOW named Robert Robertson on death row right now. So brainlet Gibson's ruse to pretend to be autistic wouldn't even have worked even if Gibson were truly and honestly autistic. And listen, Tony, Mickey Gibson is such an easy prison bitch, so of course he's going to be a popular choice for the other inmates to ram. Prisoners are like animals. They take what they can get. Beggars can't be choosers in prison, Tony.
Oh, and Tony Marquez posing as Mickey Gibson is crying about verbal abuse. But then Tony verbally harasses and spews his vile hate speech at my beautiful girlfriend Princess. Tony Marquez posing as Mickey Gibson is a total crybaby.
And no, Tony, no one feels sorry for Gibson except a brainlet like you, since Mickey Gibson is a little bitch who killed 2 defenseless women, and Gibson staged special needs. And overall, Mickey Gibson is a racist, narcissistic, woman-hating scumbag pedophile. And Gibson would target low-functioning women, since Mickey Gibson is an incel loser who always picks on the vulnerable. And how convenient that you left out the part where Gibson tried to burn and set on fire a charitable guy who gave Gibson a free cigarette. The charitable guy was able to easily dodge Gibson's terroristic attack with the free cigarette that charitable guy gave to him for free. And then thankfully 5 upstanding citizens gave Gibson a taste of his own medicine by giving that bastard Gibson a well-deserved black eye. Of course, Tony tried to use permissiveness with Gibson's staged autism as some sort of failed attempt to shame the charitable guy and his friends. Even though Gibson is the terrorist who tried to set that charitable guy on fire. And not only that, that weak racist pussy Gibson as an adult could only pick on an easy target, a young 14-year-old black child. That racist pussy Gibson would have never dared to take on an adult 18-year-old black guy. Seriously, had Gibson taken on an 18-year-old black guy, that Klansman Gibson would have ended up in the hospital or 6 feet under, and deservedly so. And that hypocritical brainlet Tony believes with his illogic because Gibson was 17, he was somehow above the law, and Tony believes that gave Gibson the right to terrorize and have Gibson try to commit felony crimes by attempting to burn innocent people in flames with a free cigarette that was given to him as charity.